Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. We have midweek Premier League. We have midweek Cup games. It's week 27 of the Premier League, but Liverpool are on match day 28. It's all happening. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Nick Dianni. Welcome back, my friend. Big weekend on the pod. Doesn't mean we didn't miss you. Um, Very disappointing result from Roma today. I had Roma and under 3.5, and they had to fuck me right there at the end.
The first time in the history of ever they do something right by doing something wrong.
Right, exactly. I knew you'd get a kick out of that. Uh,
Mons is just really bad. Like
yes.
they're worse than Hellas, and I didn't think I'd say that about any team ever in Serie A. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But Mo Salah doing the thing, Liverpool doing the thing. Things are I'm happy.
Can
I'm
we go on the
happy.
soapbox just really quickly about Mo Salah? I
Yeah,
like
please.
said it. I mean, we say it. We always but, like it's really kind of insane to me how he's still not getting the recognition that he deserves somehow. Or maybe I'm in the skewed reality of who I follow on Twitter or algorithm, something. I hear about Vinny Jr. every other day, and we could debate the merits of Vinny Jr. all we want, but like, why is nobody talking about Salah? This guy is having the greatest season of his life. He's probably the greatest like value transfer in the history of ever. What he's given Liverpool the last what 6, 7 years? I don't even know how long it's been.
I think this is year 8.
Year eight, okay, yeah. And how does he not have a contract? Even a 1 year, hey, season of your life, let's extend you. We don't have to get into that either, but like people talk more about Mo Salah. Like if you thought it was going to like turn into February and he still wouldn't be scoring every single game, you're wrong. He's doing it. So I don't get it. More praise for Mo Salah.
I think we do. I mean, obviously we know that you skew a little more Italian football coverage and I skew more English. So the Mo Salah conversation is all over my timeline.
Okay, good. I'm
And
glad.
I will say, I think we can officially retire the Mo Salah Eden Hazard debate. It's done. It's over. He's on right now a point where he could break the record for most goals in a season and most assists in a season in the same season, which is
Yeah.
wild. I did, however, have a moment today that I was like, fuck. If Real Madrid win the Champions League and win La Liga, they're gonna give it to Mbappe.
Yeah.
They're gonna give it to
Yeah.
Mbappe because he's French and they're French and the
And,
award's stupid and it doesn't matter.
yeah. And
But
he's rounded into some kind of form. But like
right,
Salah had this year last year and he wasn't even on the short list.
no, exactly.
So like that's what
That's
drives me
again.
nuts, man.
That's again why I'm like, damn it, Liverpool have to go on to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And speaking of Champions League, we will talk about Champions League later in the week. We'll be back with an episode either late Thursday evening or Friday, but it'll be ready for you Friday ahead of bets for the weekend. We'll be here. And I gave ourselves homework. We are both going to come back with a team to advance that is a fun number for you guys to bet on. Um, and I think, you know what? We don't. This is my two qualify bet of the year. I think just I'm teasing it for Thursday. I'm gonna send a nuclear missile on this bet. I'm gonna put a responsibly large wager for me on this thing. We'll talk about it later in the week. So that's a little teaser for you guys. But I know you guys are here for bets. It's early Tuesday morning. There's games at 2:30. Let's stop bullshitting and get into it. It's Brighton. They're taking on Bournemouth, two teams that I've bet a lot on this season. Um, and I want to point out one real quick. Brighton, outside of two losses, are like it's like 3 wins in a row, 2 losses, 3 wins in a row. Kind of figuring it out. They did get the advantage of playing Chelsea twice, and Chelsea are in bad form right now. But I have two plays for this game, and it's Bournemouth team total over 1.5 at plus 138. They've done that in their last two matches against Brighton. They've hit that in 6 of their 9 matches in 2025. But I also at minus 135, it's right there. Both teams are scoring over 2.5. Um, it's it's right there. Also, Brighton are 6-1-2 in 2025. One draw, 6 wins, 2 losses. They very quietly found form, but this game to me screams like some kind of crazy shootout. So I like goals in the game. I think there's value on Bournemouth, who have been very good this year, a favorite of the podcast. They disappointed us this weekend, but that was a red card, so it's not my fault.
Yeah. My play is to just tail Andrew's place because I just have not made sense of Brighton since week one. Came out of the gate super hot. I'm like, oh, who's this team? I don't know. They don't make sense to me. Had a couple of really big upsets, and then they like fell into a ditch. And now all of a sudden they're kind of back. I don't know. But like Bournemouth, we can't talk about them enough. They've been so good and so consistent. Um, when they lose, you kind of chalk it up to, yeah, well, it's Bournemouth. Like they're not supposed to be here anyway. And then they bounce back and just like win. So I could really be sold on either team here. I mean, Brighton at home, I understand why they're getting love on the money line plus 105. I think this is this place you have to take a stab with Bournemouth. I just think you do. Draw no bet is plus 150. Um, plus a quarter of a goal. I just had it and it escaped me. Excuse me. It is even money. So,
Oh, I like that a lot.
you could turn that draw potentially into a half win. I think either one of those is really, really solid. And quite honestly, you could take an over three. Both teams scoring over 2.5 is there. If you one of those wonky results involving both of these teams, which has happened, we've seen 3-0, 4-0, 7-0 score lines with these teams. If you want a little bit of a protection, you can go over three, but I think you got to take a shot with Bournemouth in this one. We're going to come back next week or later this week, and I'm going to say, oh, Brighton, look, got them wrong again. So that's what I'm fully prepared for. Go with goals. Danny Welbeck, awesome year. Justin Kluivert, Roma legend, who couldn't take two steps correctly in Rome, seems to be just on fire. So shout out these teams.
Let's talk about players that are on fire. Wolves just got a victory over Bournemouth on the weekend. They're taking on Fulham at home. Quick play here. Mateus Cunha, who has scored in four straight, is plus 200 anytime goal scorer. He's plus 130 score or assist. That's all I got.
Yep.
Like, does it happen automatically? No. But those are numbers that I'm willing to die on. Cunha,
Yes.
anytime.
Yeah, say no more. Wolves is a team another team that we talk about. They just score a lot. Their defense is equally terrible, but like their place in the standings, their overall record, to me, it's like doesn't reflect how good they actually are or can be or are fun to watch. Wolves games are enjoyable. Go with goals in this one, but I absolutely agree. Plus 200 makes couldn't make less
No,
sense. Like
makes
this
no
guy is
sense.
absolutely on fire. You know me, I don't love anytime goal scorer bets unless they have a two in front of them or higher. So go with that. Also over 2.5 minus 110, just right
Oh,
there.
I like that. I like that a lot. Fulham's defense is equally bad. Equally bad.
Until they pull
Uh,
out that like stretch of 1-0 or 1-0 wins or losses, for a month. They do that, but
yeah.
I hate Fulham. Sorry.
Crystal Palace taking on Aston Villa. Palace sneaky hot right now. Aston Villa also playing well. Marcus Rashford and Asensio slotting in well. This could be a look ahead spot for Villa as they have Champions League on the others, or they have Champions League coming up in a week. But I'm going to take the both teams to score here and over 2.5 at plus 110. It's hitting four of the last six head to head games between these two. And just the form that Palace is on right now, I think they're going to score. But I do think that Villa, who is trying to like charge back up and maybe get a European spot, is going to get something in this game. Plus 110. I love that. That's all I got there.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think Villa has to, there's like no time left to drop points. So they have to have this game. I do understand it's away from home. Palace has been great. Villa, draw no bet, minus 105 has to be the play for me.
Yep. We jump to Wednesday in the Premier League. Four very good games. No idea how I'm going to keep up with all of this. Tottenham are taking on Manchester City. In the last six head-to-head games, Spurs have won outright three of those. City have won a couple, and there was one draw. Spurs double chance at minus 125. They're at home. I don't really think you. I mean, City are just they're in a bad spot right now, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to go to Tottenham and punish a Tottenham team that's as beat up as they are. So give me the double chance, but I wouldn't hate a play on Spurs and both teams to score at plus 350 because it's plus 350. Marmouche anytime goal scorer plus 160 feels right.
Yeah.
Four shots in the game at plus 100. I don't love it. Especially I'm still not sure if Holland is playing or not, but I don't know. Spurs have definitely been a team that have had Pep Guardiola's number the most, and with City in kind of free fall yet again, I'm not. I'm going to take the double chance and just stick with it.
I get it. At home, it feels like kind of a toss up, but I just really don't trust either of these teams. I'm kind of with you. I think Haaland situation is going to make or break a bet for me in this one. Marmoush looked really good against Liverpool, very active, didn't get on the score sheet. That
He had
counted
a
anyway.
he had a goal that he was
But
in the right position, did everything right,
yeah,
just a few meters offside.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on some player props in this one would be my best advice. See who's starting. To score numbers will be pretty high, I think. Marmoush is good for like shots on target. Also, he's been pretty much on fire when he's on the field. So, um, yeah, a lot of moving parts. Keep an eye on lineups. I can't pick a side in this one in good conscience. I just don't know what to do with it.
All good. We jump to Nottingham Forest, Arsenal. And depending on the result in this game, I mean, Liverpool are 11 points clear. Arsenal have played one less game. But this is a tough game for Arsenal and Forest, who were getting cooked in the first half against Newcastle. Honestly, it was apparently like a 10-minute stretch where Newcastle just scored 3 goals, and then Forest almost came back. Forest are
Yep.
coming off a couple of bad losses here. This is a big home game for them. They are potentially slipping out of the top four. And Arsenal, who struggled to break down a very bad Leicester team a couple weeks ago and then got cooked by West Ham this past weekend. Um, Forest could do, they drew with Liverpool at home. They've been a very good home side. Double chance at -130 for Forest is really, really good value for me. Draw no bet at +190 I like a lot because it's a good home team in the Premier League. Chris Wood score or assist is +230. Um,
Absolutely on fire.
yeah. I'm pissed off. I took him anytime goal scorer this weekend. He was like +200, and I forgot to put him in score or assist. And of course, this past weekend was the weekend he got the assist. Um, look, I'm pretty confident that Forest are just going to be able to handle Arsenal because they have so many. I mean, they're off this weekend because it's an FA Cup weekend. Um, but I'm pretty confident that Arsenal aren't going to be able to get a win in this game.
Yeah.
I don't see how they get a win. I just don't.
Listen, everything that you said, I tend to agree with. I'm going to take a stab in that case with Forest team total over 1.5. It's +240. And they've been in a crazy number like that the past few weeks. So I think if you imagine they're getting something out of this game, they need 2 goals, right? Like they have to. I think no matter what, even though I don't know who's going to score for Arsenal, I think Arsenal does get a goal. I think they just kind of wear you down over the course of 90 minutes and figure it out. So I would, this seems like a good spot to take a chance with Forest. That's just way too big of a number to overlook. Also, for Arsenal, if you're picking somebody out, I don't trust anybody. So I think Odegaard at +500 kind of seems silly. He doesn't score a ton, but he's going to have the ball at his feet an awful lot. They don't really have a forward. Our boy from Sociedad, like I don't know, like he just finally started getting some minutes. So I don't really make too much of that.
He's not a striker.
Right,
He's a midfielder. He is
right.
a center mid who, for the last 10 minutes of the game against Leicester, they're like, "You're tall, go stand in the box,"
Yeah,
and it's
and
like,
then started as a forward the game after that. So
what are we thinking, man? Like
yeah.
I
So
don't get it.
he's getting like striker type numbers to score a goal. That doesn't make sense to me. Trossard stinks. Sterling is 1,000 years old, so I don't know where the goal's coming from. I would take a stab, or I would at least look at Odegaard if you're around that +500 number.
Yeah, he's gotta step up from them, and I don't think he can do it. All right, that'll bring us to a game that I do think we'll disagree on. Brentford are taking on Everton, and I'm gonna take Brentford money line here again at +100. They were +100 all over the weekend on Friday. Easy cash on Friday night. They're playing really good ball right now. They're at home where they're very tough to beat, and Everton. Um, I'm not going to deny that they have been on very good form, and I'm sure the Beto anytime goal score number is great right now because he has been scoring goals. But
Okay.
um, there's a big difference between Manchester United and Brentford at home. So, no home fans for Everton in this one. I at some point too, I think Everton hit that point of like, okay, we're not on the we're on the
That's it.
beach,
That's exactly what I was going to say. I couldn't agree
and
with you more. I think they've distanced themselves enough. They have a new manager who probably has done enough to earn himself a spot for next year. Players are probably a little more comfortable. The wheels aren't going to fall off, but they're not going to have to play with that same urgency that they have been for the past 2 months. So I didn't mean to take over that line of thinking from you, but I couldn't agree more.
yeah. So we're just taking money line Brentford at plus one
Do it.
hundred. Yeah. What I
Done.
mean, I don't think. By the way, and Buemo was like +200 anytime goal scorer in that game.
Unreal.
There's some very good player props for Brentford. That brings us to the big game. It's Liverpool and Newcastle. These teams are going to play in a few weeks in a cup final. The game earlier this season was maybe one of the best games of the entire season. Shambolic defending by Liverpool in the end of it. And Newcastle are a team that absolutely do scare me as a Liverpool fan. The irony is that there's now multiple players that Liverpool are being linked to buy from Newcastle, including Isak, and I even saw a Lewis Hall, their left back, as well as a new player of interest for Liverpool. Um, I guess we can start with the. I actually there's not a game pick I like in this. This for me is a player prop game because over 3.5 is super cooked. Over both teams to score and over 2.5 is super cooked. Like over 3.5 goals in both teams to score is plus 120. And I mean I don't love the price of that. I think that happens. Like because this could be a 2-2 draw or a 3-3
Yeah.
draw. Like Liverpool and Newcastle have some historic, great Premier League games. Um, but things that I had written down, Salah assist at plus 170 is good value. The goal and assist is dropped 100 over 120 points, 130 points from last week. I got it at plus 437. It's plus 306 in this game.
Well,
He did do that against Newcastle earlier this season. Um, Best bet of the game though, I think, is Isak anytime goal scorer at plus 185. He's done that in 3 of the 5 games against Liverpool. 3 shots for Isak is plus 135 if he's going to have enough of the ball. And then again, not to stick with Newcastle props, but the lock of the day is Anthony Gordon, former Liverpool youth player, shot on target plus 105. The dude loves to tear apart Liverpool. He's going up
yes.
against a Trent Alexander-Arnold who got turned left, right, and center last week by or on the weekend by one of the worst finishers in the Premier League by Manchester City. So Gordon at least knows how to get a shot off. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores or assists in this game. He loves this game. So Anthony Gordon's another place to go, but I don't know. The number's not there for Liverpool. The
Yeah,
number,
and that's kind of where I was going. Like you want to back Liverpool. They know that they could essentially put the title to rest with 3 points in this game. But what are you going to do? You're going to back him at -1, and even that's a chalky number. It's minus 140. So I don't think there's any real way to get involved with Liverpool. If you believe in Newcastle, you can get Newcastle +1 at minus 105. I think that buys you a lot of outs. But I don't know. I mean, do you? I don't. There's not a team on the planet that I would not back Liverpool against at this point, right? So it's difficult to me. Take a stab at a big number. Draws plus 400. That's just give it a shot. I mean, I really have no other insight to give. Salah's you gave the good bet because he's almost minus 200 score. That's talked about the respect that he wasn't getting. At least the sports books are giving him respect. So minus 200 score. Isak's plus 120 to score. There's nothing to do there. Do you want to bet on 4 goals? I guess you could, but I don't. I just don't want to
like
have to.
Liverpool could just as easily win this game 2-0 somehow. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
I will say Cody Gakpo came off the bench over the weekend. He's like a good number. I think he's like plus 165 anytime goal scorer.
That's
And
not
he
that good.
has a very good record at Anfield this season, but like I don't think he's 100% yet. So I just I'm like you're probably getting 60 minutes out of him at the most. I don't know what I feel comfortable with outside. Like I said, Isak, I saw him at plus 185. So the fact that you're seeing a plus 120 is quite a difference. At plus 185, I love it.
Yes,
Even down to plus
yes,
150, I love it.
yes.
But like I said, I think Anthony Gordon is kind of the way
Yeah.
to go in terms of like a niche thing.
And this is totally one of those games, right? Like Gordon plus 450 to score, McAllister plus 6, like somebody like from the midfield that you're not expecting
Yeah,
going to get something done in this game.
we gave out Sabasli last weekend, and we got him at plus 5.
Yeah, he's down to plus 330 because that's how
Yeah,
much you guys move lines.
yeah. That's the power of dude scoring goal and assist over the weekend, and suddenly the line moves. Um, Jumping back in time to Tuesday before some parlays that I have. Barcelona are taking on Atletico Madrid in the um Copa del Rey semifinals, 2 legs. Lewandowski, anytime goal scorer, plus 110, is a very interesting number because he has been quite the bagsman for Barcelona this season, and he's a plus number. You don't get that a lot. But I also like Julian Alvarez, score or assist at plus 190. Those are the only 2 things I would take from that game. Barcelona are super cooked. Although both teams to score is in the it's in the parlay. So um, I don't know. Rafinha's a really great number, but like this because it's over 2 legs, and I think the second leg will be at Atletico Madrid. Barcelona will definitely be trying to come out a little bit more, but this is
Yeah.
going to be full on bloodshed over two
Yeah.
legs. It's going to be a lot of fun to
Simeone
watch.
terrorism, try to limit
Yes.
the damage. Don't go home with, by losing more than one goal.
Yes,
Like going
absolutely.
home tied is a win.
Yes, absolutely. Both teams to score parlay plus 245. Aforementioned Brighton and Bournemouth, which screams both teams to score game. I didn't look up the numbers, but like both teams to score game. Barcelona Atletico. I know you just talked about it, but they Atleti won 2-1 at the reverse fixture. We've seen both teams to score come in quite a bit for Atleti in these bigger games, so I do like both teams to score there. And then Liverpool Newcastle. It's over 2 days,
Yes.
but plus 245, and then a crazy plus 1500 um, score or assist parlay. I don't even know if I'm going to put this in or not, but I cooked it up.
Put it in.
Mateta Palace against Villa. He's been on insane form. Cunha for Wolves. Chris Wood for Forest. It's plus 1500.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
they goal or assist, one or the other. So, um, I'm gonna try to hit one of these before the end of the season. This was kind of like a little less serious one because I don't know, it's the middle of the week and I got shit going on. So, yeah, those are all the picks for the middle of the week. Games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Like I said, we will have a podcast out Friday morning at the latest with bets for the weekend. There's FA Cup. Will we bet FA Cup? We'll see. There's definitely going to be fun games. Oh, I think it's Napoli Inter this weekend in Serie A, which I have no idea how we're going to bet that because Inter have been so hard to figure out. But we'll try.
Code for that is they've been bad. The
Yeah.
translation for what you said. They've
Yeah.
just not been good.
Yes, yes. Well, and they don't score goals. They don't score goals.
Right.
Lautaro is supposed to be one of the best players in the world. Score some goals. But that'll wrap it up from us. Follow Nick at Nick Dianni. You can follow me at Andrew Passaro, and you'll hear from us later in the week.
See you guys.